And as should be happening, although I've got to admit we're an hour behind, is the Wednesday 7 o'clock show, which is now the Wednesday 8 o'clock show, because, more like the 8:10. A few hiccups, technical hiccups, everything sorted out. The show will be continuing on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and it's basically a preview of what happens today at the Lineker Centre, which is known as the Vibe. So the Lineker Community Centre in Bootle, Liverpool. I go along there on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock and introduce myself into a session talking about well-being and health and things like that. Today, we were talking about self-esteem. So I've spoken about this a few times, but self-esteem is something that is kind of close to my heart in a way, because a lot of people that I know have been down that road of low self-esteem and never really understood it, never really understood the fact that they had it. They assumed it was possibly depression, or they just assumed that's them, that's how they are. And it's totally untrue. That is not you. It's not how you are. It is how you were molded by people around you, either be it your family, friends, or, groups, your little cohorts when you were at school, or further on as a teenager, or possibly even into adulthood, who just chipped away at you, knocked you down, and you just became a completely different person due to this. So the idea of the sessions like the one that I did today was to show you how to break that down, to show you how to get away from who you are now and become the person that you really are, the person you used to be. And so we had a good chat there. We were only there about 20 minutes. The group that I was with, they had to leave a little bit early, but it was fantastic. It was like a breakthrough session, explaining about the self-esteem and things like that. So the topic is open for next Wednesday, and the reason being is that because it's the schools are all out for a week, so there will be no session in the Lineker Centre because the kids are taking over. But I will still be doing the live session at 7 o'clock at night on Wednesday, a week today. And the subject has not been picked yet, but I've got a feeling it's going to be around the divorce and breakup heading. And the reason for that is because it's a subject that has been requested a few times. It's a subject that I'm deeply involved in. So with me, the skills that I have adopted and the qualifications that go with the things that I've adopted, including life coaching, hypnosis, and divorce and separation, it's kind of one of the things I guess I should be talking about, which is fine. So that's what I'll be talking about. Now, unless you decide to join the chat, which I haven't got up, so you can join the chat, and at some point you can either mention a subject that you want to talk about around, basically, hopefully it's going to be around the subjects of divorce and breakup, something to do with life coaching. Now, when I say life coaching, it's something to help you get along and over the little hurdles that are hitting you through life. So when you decide that, I want to go for that promotion, but for some reason, I can't seem to get it in my head to go for it. So that's like a hurdle. There's a block, a mental block, something stopping you for whatever has happened in your life that has stopped you wanting to go forward. So things like promotions. So things like changing your job even. It could come into your head that you just don't want to change jobs because you don't think you can do it. And you've got that fear that if you move jobs, or if you give up one job and then you suddenly look for another job, that you're just not going to be able to find something. So it's not always a good idea to leave one job and then start looking. It usually is the best way to look for the job and see if you can get it before you leave your other one. Because it's a sad case of affairs if you lose one job and you can't get another job and you're sitting there with your thumb up your backside going, I'm skint. So yeah, it's always a good idea in that scenario to maybe look first. But even in that, the amount of people that won't go forward, and they won't even look for that other job before they quit the job that they don't really like. So it's important that when we talk about life coaching, that you get it in your head. You go back and find out why you've got this hurdle. We find the hurdle, we shake it and throw it away. Then you're nice and lightheaded and go forward, and you'll be able to, at that point, go for the things that you want to go for, because the hurdle is gone. The little man in your head saying don't do it is gone. The fear is gone. So that's what we try to do, and we successfully do, with life coaching. And in the life coaching, we implement something, as well we do with divorce and breakup, is something called NLP. So NLP has become a major part of my life now. It was never anything, go back years ago, I've never even heard of NLP. But it came out in the 70s. It was discovered by Richard Bandler and his partner, whose name I can't remember right now. Richard Bandler, he found 3 people who were very successful in their therapies, and they seemed to get a really high cure rate. So Richard Bandler decided to get these 3 particular coaches and find out what makes them so special. When he found out what makes them so special, he decided to mash it all up and then bring out what he called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And its success is almost unmeasurable because of the style and the tools that are implemented in NLP are used everywhere in different ways. Now, not every style of NLP is going to be the same as somebody else's, yet the way around it, the structure of it is the same, and the outcome is the same. But it's like if I read a book now, and let's start with chapter 1, first page, I read it, and then you said to me what it was about, and I gave you a summary of what it was about. You give the book to somebody else, they read the first page of the first chapter, and you ask them, can you give me a summary of the first page? And they will give you a summary. Their summary is going to be different than mine. That's just the way it goes, because each person picks up on things that they think are more relevant than other things. Yeah, we got the key things, right? Man meets woman, have a family, live happy ever after. Okay. Yes, it was a fairy tale. But the fact is that myself and the other person will come up with a different adaptation of what we have read. Again, because we see things slightly differently. We will make up a background that is not quite what is in the book. And that comes to the fact when people who have read a book and then the film comes out, they always say, oh, the book was better. And why do you think that is? It's because your creation in your head is not the same as what is created on the film, because they've come out with what they think a colour is, what they think a castle looks like, what they think a fight scene is. Your fight scene, your castle, your colour, they're different. And that's just the way it is. So when you've come up with your idea of what the author is trying to explain and you create your own picture, right? Your picture is absolutely tops, okay? It's the absolute 100% maximum creation that you come out with because it's what you like. So you created what you like. They've created what they like, and it's different. So you go, the book was better than the film, albeit. So getting back on track. So there's the divorce that uses NLP. There is life coaching that uses NLP. And would you believe NLP uses hypnosis in a way? Right? It's not to its maximum force, right? There's no sort of, right, relax, we're going to now count backwards and all this. But it is sort of dropped in there in the discussions. So while you've come to a life coach and you've said, Carl, right, I am trying to do this and I'm only getting to that, whereas I want to get to that and I don't know why. And I go, okay. So we do a life coach session, And we realize that there's something tinkering there that we just can't seem to sandpaper it away or wash it away. So we introduce another method, right? It's still NLP with a slight little bit of hypnosis in it. So the structure of hypnosis, what they use is the deepener, the sort of getting down and sort of, yeah, I'm nice and relaxed. Okay, we take you a bit, oh, I'm even more relaxed. Thank you very much. Your subconscious now is going, oh yeah, you're talking to me? You're talking to me? Yeah. And then you talk to the person, but also the subconscious. Now, your subconscious, now you can't sort of go, oh, right, okay, I'm just going to go from, the front of my head to the back of my head. So my conscience is now going to turn off, my subconscious is turning on. It's not that easy, okay? I could talk to you about an event, your subconscious is picking it up and remembering it, recalibrating it, throwing it to your front of the head. You didn't ask it to do that. It was just doing it, okay? So even when you're not in deep hypnosis or relaxed hypnosis, the suggestion can go into your subconscious and your subconscious will recognize it and you're not even aware of it. So let's put that into a visual explanation. Years ago, the Americans, I do believe the Americans, if it wasn't, apologies, right? But hey, they used something called blip verts. And they were adverts, that will pour out in things like the cinema. So they got a nice audience for what product they were trying to sell. So let's say they were using a drink brand, maybe Coca-Cola. So they wanted to make sure that the people in the cinema were going to buy Coca-Cola rather than any other drink. So when it's coming to ice cream time, halfway through the film, they'll say, enjoy your 10-minute recess or break or whatever you want to call it. And then suddenly there'll be a flash of a Coca-Cola bottle, right? Nice and refreshing, dripping with ice and all this. It was that fast, you never saw it, but your brain did. Your brain saw it. So to you, nothing. But your brain saw it, you're off, and you go, I'll have 2 Coca-Colas. And you're thinking, actually, I was thinking Sprite, but for some reason, no, I'll have 2 Coca-Colas. Yeah, cheers for that. You're technically brainwashed without your permission. So hence blip verts were banned because it's a bit unfair you getting a flash of an advert not even realizing it's happened, because if you can get away with that, what else can you get away with? So it's not very trusted and it's not trustworthy and it's not very nice. Someone's forcing an advert upon you and it's not really giving you the choice. So life is all about choices, right or wrong. So at that point, you weren't given a choice. So, like I say, in life coaching, we can use little bits of hypnosis. So not like blip verts, not like that at all, but literally by suggesting that there's something there that is in the way. So now we're going to deal with it. And we're going to deal with it like this. So I want you to, and then I want you to. So basically, someone's they come along with a problem, and let's say we revert back to the I'm not getting a promotion. Why aren't you getting a promotion? Explain to me what happens, and take me through the process of when promotion is coming up, why you're not putting your foot forward. And then the client will turn around and say, well, do you know what? I'm not putting my foot forward because everyone knows that the promotion's opened. And they're going to know who's going forward for it. And if I don't get it, it's classed as a failure. And I'm going to look like an idiot. And they're going to think, you couldn't get it. And then maybe I try again next year and I don't get it. And people are just going to go, don't bother, mate, because you know how many times you've been and you're just not getting it. There's something is afoot here. If you're not getting that promotion, you've been twice and you've been knocked back twice. And I'm not being funny, but your opposition is not exactly up there. So what's the problem? So then you think, I'm just not going to go for it anymore. It's obviously not for me. Either management don't like me or I'm just not good enough. I'm not cut out. But to be honest, I've looked at my figures. My figures are up there. So why am I not getting the promotion? So you stop going from promotions. And then we say, well, you've got something there that's stopping you. There's a blockage somewhere in your path that's stopping you getting your promotions. Let's have a look. So explain to me, tell me about your job. Tell me about what it involves, who's around you, where are you in the levels of supervisor, manager, or are you sort of like shop level, shop floor? Where are you in your industry? What's your status? So they say, well, I'm middle management and I want to go for the manager's role. And you go, okay. So do you have everything that is required for you to get that role? Are you matched with the manager's role? And you say, yeah. And say, okay, so let's have a look at other areas as well. Is there anything that you feel is popping out? And it seems to be popping out all the time. And sometimes it pops out in interviews and you struggle with the answer. Is there anything like that? You said, well, they do ask me about, my home life, what are my hobbies, etc. What are my kids like? What are they up to? What school are they in? Are they clever? We're not allowed to ask that, I don't think. So we say, okay, so you have a struggle over that. There's a bit of a hurdle because of how you're answering it. So let's talk about how you answer it. So that's when you start sort of nibbling away to find out what it is that the client is tripping on. So once we establish that, then we can start getting the iron out and smoothing it. Okay. And once we get to smooth that, then we sort of go back and say, how does this flow now? Is the water flowing nicely down the pipe, or are we still hitting a blockage in our pipe here? And they say, weirdly enough, no. Because I used to think about that, and I used to feel like my heart would probably bump a little bit faster, or I might get a bead of sweat, or, my eyes, my pupils will go wide, and I'll be going, oh my God. But no, now I'm going back and thinking about it again. No, I feel like that hurdle, that blockage is gone. So we say, okay. So our belief is that was what was stopping you going forward. Now, unfortunately, at this point in time, I can't answer whether you get your promotion or not until you go for it again. But what we do know is that the issues that you had when you were on interview have now gone. We've found them, solved them, and we've moved on, as you are going to move on. Next time the promotion comes up, they go for it. Question is, did he get the job? I can't tell you, because that story was completely made up. So, but they're the things that you will deal with. So that was a scenario of the type of things that you'll deal with. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about clients' situations and the hurdles that they have, because it's confidential. Even though if I do tell you and I don't tell you the name, I still wouldn't like to do that, because the client might be listening and say, my God, that's me. And they have a hissy fit. And even though they're not identified, I can understand that they will identify to it. And that's enough. And I don't want people going into sudden panics. So with that in mind, I don't talk about clients in any which way or form, unless the client is on one of the podcasts, which I have. There's a podcast. And if the client wants to be on the podcast and talk about their lives, then that's fine. Okay. So to be honest, it's pointless being on a podcast. I'm not talking about what the issue is the podcast about. So my podcast is about divorce, and it's about how it all comes together after the divorce. So the issues that you go through. And there are multiple issues, many problems that people face when they go through divorce. And it's so understandable what people go through. So my job as a divorce coach is to help them through the trauma, the turmoil, the upset, and get them in a better frame. Okay, so they come in and, you know, they could be hysterical, they could be calm but angry, they could be banging their head against the wall because they can't seem to move on in their life. So that's what the divorce and breakup coaching is all about, is to help through that particular thing. So if you came to me and said, I've got a problem, I'm just not very happy in work, and I'll say, well, you've asked me to talk to you about divorce. And you say, oh, well, I'm divorced from work. Yeah, okay. So that's not actually what I do as a divorce coach, but I can help you with life coaching. And that's the beauty of understanding what I call the main three: the divorce and breakup, the life coaching, which can teach, which can help you with anything, anytime, anywhere. So any subject. And then you've got the hypnosis. So with hypnotherapy, you can help with other areas. So if you decide that you want to lose weight, give up drinking, stop smoking, have more confidence, become better at what you do, etc., etc. There's multiple things. I'm afraid of spiders. I'll help you with that. That's actually me. I'm afraid of spiders. And small rooms. Yeah, I don't do small rooms or lifts, but that's another matter. So there's help with them, and it usually can be done in one session. The only things I can definitely say you don't do in one session is smoking. Trying to give up smoking is usually 2 sessions, and losing weight, that could be 3 or 4 sessions. And it's because of the design that is required to go through these motions. And a lot of it is because I will give you homework to do. Now, when I say homework, don't start dropping back into your school days. It's not that type of homework. What it is I'll say, I'm going to help you with this, but you need to do this because I'm not there with you 24 hours a day. So when you leave and you go home, you need to make sure that you're doing this. You need to make sure you're not doing that. Because if you do, you're going to ruin everything. Because I can tell you how to put chips in the oven, but I can't explain to you enough on what it should look like when you're checking it. I could, but what you see and what I see are different things. So I could say when it starts going brown and you go, oh, that looks like it's brown. You found out it was a bad chip. The rest are anemic, right? So it's important that there are things that you need to do when you get in. So let's say it was weight loss, and I said, you know, you need to look at how you see food. Some people see food in different ways. Some see it as a way of surviving. Some people see it as a luxury. Some people see it as a luxury within a luxury within a luxury. And, you know, but then there's the odd person that just sees it as what the hell. So whenever it's there, they eat it. And that kind of goes hand in hand with seafood. You see food, you'd eat it. So it's getting your brain into the habit of understand how you perceive food. Okay, it's not there to make you feel better. Although a nice bit of chocolate does make you feel a little bit better, but that's only because you tell yourself. Okay, you tell yourself, you lie to yourself, this chocolate's going to make me feel so much better. So you do feel so much better. But the fact is that you're probably not feeling better at all. It's just your head telling you that. And your head will tell you, if I eat some chocolate later on, I'm going to feel better. That's brilliant. I didn't even know I wasn't feeling better. So if I don't know I'm not feeling better, how can I feel better? I may already be feeling better, but I'm telling myself I'm not because I want a piece of chocolate. Okay, it's your brain tricking you. Okay, it's like, I've got a headache, I need paracetamol, or, you know, some other Sindol, some dreaded drug that gets you hooked. So what happens is you do become hooked on certain medications, and your brain and your body says, oh, I'm in pain. but you're not. Your brain is telling your body to pretend to be in pain, so I have the painkillers. So your brain can go, oh, yeah, man. So it lies to us, constantly lies, which is why people can do their own meditations and have a tooth taken out and not feel it, because they're telling their brain to do this, ignore that, do this, ignore that. And by the time it's over with, you know, you've managed to put a block in your nervous system to stop the pain. How amazing is that? Or has to stop the pain? In my guess, it didn't stop the pain, but you put a mental block in there to tell yourself that this is not pain because I'm thinking about something else. It's like when you're thinking about something else and someone comes behind you and goes boo, right? If you're expecting it, you probably jump at the same time. If you're not expecting it, you're probably going to delay very, very slightly because you weren't expecting it, because your head was somewhere else. You're reading a book and someone's going, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea? Sorry, what was that? Reading a book, when you get immersed in a book, or immersed even, in a book, and it's really, really gripping, then the world starts blocking out. And that's what happens with hypnosis, and it happens with meditation. You block out the world and just get into your own thoughts. And that's how you can beat pain. I've never tried it, and I don't know whether it works, but if you suddenly get pain, like you fall over and go, ah, like that, and you think, meditate. Okay, I'm going to meditate the pain away. I don't know whether that's possible. I'm sure these people who are really, really mind-expanding meditators probably could. But us normal people that don't do meditation, I say that really badly. I don't mean people who do meditation aren't normal. But those of us that don't do things like meditation on a regular basis wouldn't probably be able to do that, right? Because the pain has just now overtaken all your emotions, right? Fear may also be one of them when you look and go, I definitely had 5 toes when I started. This morning I had 5. What's that extra one there? And you think, oh my God. So the chances are we probably won't be able to go into a meditative state because everything else has took over and we've got no sort of clarity in life. We've just gone into fear mode, pain mode and all that. So it's like, whatever. So bring us back. Meditation's an amazing thing. If you can get into it, it is absolutely amazing. It will bring down your blood pressure. I don't know if it would bring down your cholesterol, because I don't know if you eat a bun afterwards, but, you know, have a cake and then worry about your cholesterol is a different thing. But it definitely helps with blood pressure and things like that because of the stress, and it dissolves your stress and brings your stress levels down, helps your blood pressure. If it helps your blood pressure, it helps any problems that and conditions you may get with your heart, and it just goes way on and on and on and on, and we're all happy and healthy and chiming bells and making bowls sing and whatever. But it still is an amazing thing. If you haven't tried it, have a go. If you've had a go and stopped having a go back and get back on the horse and keep on going. If you're doing it right now, well done. And at some point, when I organise my life to have some time to do something like that, I will definitely get back into it. I do like it. It's a great thing. Unfortunately, I do, and I make the mistake of lying down when I do it, because within 5 minutes, I'm snoring away. Right, it's great to get me to sleep, but I need to tell my brain, this is not me going to sleep. This is me just lying down, relaxing, bit of music on, and just relaxing my mind. Okay, get rid of all the day's events have gone, put them in a box, throw them away because I don't need them. If it's something I need to remember because I'm doing it the next day, then I won't throw it away. I'll put it in a box and put it to the side. It's a metaphorical box by anyway. So it's not a real box. It's just me in my mind putting something to the side. I'm starting to sound like a crazy man. But so the reason for this is you've got to categorize your brain and say, not important now, right? I can deal with it in an hour, but right now I'm just going to put everything away to the side and just listen to me ching chong and whatever music is going on and bang ding doo and all this, bowls and banging a little drum bell or whatever it may be, and just chilling. And then when I come back to my own crazy reality, then I'll pick up back into my mind, right, what is it I need you to do? Because there's nothing worse than trying to go into a meditation. And then while you're lying there and you're going, oh, yeah, okay. And then you might use, counting numbers. You might go into seeing sheep on a farm. Maybe that's why I keep going to sleep, counting sheep. Or creating your safe space, your landscape, some rock somewhere high in the mountains, wherever you choose is your nice place. And you get there and then suddenly you go, oh, have I got to get washing up liquid tomorrow? Oh, yeah. Oh, I've got to go to Aldi, haven't I? Oh, I forgot about that. And you think, oh, no. Go away, right? Put the trolley away. Leave it over there. Don't even get a pound out to get your trolley. Right, get back to where I was going. Home. What was that? Oh, trolley! Get out of my head. You think, I can't do this. This trolley is in my head. I'm going shopping. I need to get this. I need to get that. I can't believe it. If that happens, write it down on a piece of paper, put it down, deal with it later, get it out your mind onto paper and at the side. That sometimes and usually helps. If you can't, then just keep on having another go. Have another go. And at some point, you'll have gone to sleep and forgotten about what you're doing anyway. But like everything, I used to hear the saying that at first you don't succeed, give up. That used to be the saying, but the true saying is, if first you don't succeed, try again. And you should do, because we're not going to do everything right the first time, right? If we done everything right the first time, we'll all be plasterers. Because that's something you've got to do a fair few times before you're good at doing it, right? And any job like that, bricklaying, floor laying, tiling, they're all practical skills. But even, let's talk about academic-wise, writing a book. You might write a book and think, oh, that's awful. You go, well, let's do it again. If you don't do it again, the awful book will sit there forever and ever. And probably sitting in your mind that day, 50 years later, when you talk about the book you went to write and it was crap. And then someone will say, well, did you have another go? No. Why not? Well, it was crap. So what? You call it a draft. It's a draft copy. It wasn't quite right. Let's do it again. Change a few things around. So that's all you've got to do is keep on trying. But at that note, I'm going to leave you. Because it's cold cup of tea time. It's cold coffee. And it's time to move on, let you crack on with your lives, because this was my life, or live. And my name's Carl James. I'm a coach. And if you need any help, you can get me on Carl James at resolve-coaching.co.uk. I'm here to help. Whenever you need, just drop me a line and keep your eyes open for YouTube and any other lives that go on, and look forward to seeing you then. And hopefully at some point you can join the chat and I'll answer some of your questions. Get your name out there. Used to do it on Radio City, 2 o'clock in the morning, giving a shout out to the crew, and anyone that knows me. And it was great. So sometimes you just like to hear your name getting shouted out. Sometimes you don't want to be anonymous. Oh, okay, yeah, you can be anonymous. I don't care as long as you don't swear and curse. Then that's fine. So besides that, keep it safe, keep it real, and speak to you soon.